Hey, good morning. I'm Breck. This is Scroll Talk. Today we're going to walk through the scroll tutorial. And this is the first time I've ever going to walk through it, so maybe it's not so good. And I'll learn that along with you. So if I go to scroll.pub and I click on tutorial, we can see this tutorial, which is kind of the first documentation on scroll. So I can see this link up here. I can edit this file on try.scroll.pub. And so here, this literally just pulled in the source code behind this file. So one thing you'll notice on scroll sites, on websites and blogs and knowledge bases powered by Scroll, you'll generally see a link to view source on every single page. And when you click on that link, you'll see the source code. So this file, tutorial.html, was generated from this file, tutorial.scroll. So we can see the source code here. And so when I click on this link, edit this file, this try.scroll.pub is a little editor so to give you syntax highlighting and autocomplete, and it can pull in files. And so basically we just pulled in the source code and then you can edit it here in the browser. Now I should note there is a difference between scroll in the browser and scroll on the desktop. So usually I use it if I'm in my blog and I type in scroll using the command line app, then that's slightly different. It's pretty much the same source code, but there are some features in the version that you run on the command line on your desktop that just are not supported in the web. For example, import. We don't really have the import statement doesn't do anything. Like this doesn't do anything in the web version. And over time, that will get clearer and cleaned up. But anyway, all right. So what is Scroll? So Scroll is a new computer language that evolved from taking one question very seriously. What if you removed every unnecessary stroke from language? And that can mean keystroke. Maybe someday it will even mean literal stroke line, but for now just think keystroke. What if you made a language as simple as possible? And that's really what we've been trying to do for years with Scroll, and it's evolved. It wasn't originally, it was called tree notation and a tree language. And anyway, but we've evolved it and we've continued to make it better and better. I mean, it's on version, let's go back to the home real quick. We can see we're on version 118.6.3. So this is called semantic versioning, if you're unfamiliar with that. Basically, anytime something breaks, and in Scroll, it's kind of like we're kind of designing for the future. So we say we don't want today's broken language to get in the way of tomorrow's future better language. So we're constantly, if we find something that's going to break things, but it's going to make everything better and simpler, and we make that change. So instead of doing these like infrequent, every 5 years I do a major release with a bunch of breaking changes, we just do small changes that are super easy to update regularly, so that you're never really stuck on an old version, because it's always real easy to upgrade from version 117 to 118. Most of the time, you don't have to change anything. Usually, you're gonna have to like rename a word to a different word, and often you can, if you don't want to do that at the moment, you can wait on the upgrade, or you can even, there are tons of workarounds. So it's a really, don't let this number scare you. Although this is very extremely rare for a programming language to be on version 118. It's, Chrome has followed this. It's called semantic versioning, and it's worked pretty well. So don't be intimidated by that. Anyway, sorry. So it's evolved. We're relentlessly trying to always make things as simple as possible, and we do that so that your ideas really, because simplicity is timeless. I remember once being in Egypt in the Cairo Museum and looking at the shoes that these pharaohs used to wear 10,000 years ago, and they look just like the flip-flops I wear today. So I just think that simplicity is timeless. So that's why we're always trying to get things as simple as possible. And that way, when you get your ideas into that form, you don't have to. It's done. It's worry. You don't have to worry about it anymore, and it's going to be easy to keep, to maintain. And anyway, so that's what we try to do with Scroll. So a Scroll document is a list of lines. Each line can contain content or words. For example, here's a line containing 3 words, okay? So here's a line, title, hello world, 3 words, 1, 2, 3. In addition to containing words, each line can have its own document with its own lines using indentation. So let's just do a simple example here, title, hello world. Okay, so we have 1 line, 3 words, and now print title. Why did that work? I don't know why that didn't work, but well, let's just do paragraph. Let's do this is a paragraph. And instead of title, because title is actually a special thing for SEO, let's do hello world, this is a paragraph. So here's our document or our Scroll program. It's 2 lines long. This line has 3 words. This line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, and it can compile to HTML. Now, Scroll documents, some of them compile to HTML. Sometimes you want to compile to RSS, to text files, to CSV files, JSON files, JavaScript files. Scroll can build a lot of things, and it's going to continue to be able to build more things. Soon we'll be able to make ebooks like EPUBs and Mobis. You'll be able to make animated GIFs, SVGs, stuff like that. But we started focusing on for blogs, and that will always be the primary focus. So blogs and kind of scientific notebooks. So all right, so here we go. So in addition to containing words, each line can have its own document with its own lines using indentation. When you add a space at the beginning of a line, that line becomes a child of the parent line. You may have seen this indent trick before in languages like Python. So let me just show you what I mean. So now we've made an indent for this paragraph, and so we can say make the whole thing bold or italic. So now these 2 lines, so now this line has its own document, right? Which is just, again, a collection of lines. And it can kind of get nested like that. So for example, here's a to-do item, and this to-do item can have its own child document, and then we can have another one, hello world, and then this can have, so you can nest these lines. So we've got the master document, the root program, then we have this line, and then it has its own document or program, and then this line also has its own document or program. So we push the indent trick to the max. We push it harder than anyone has ever done in history, and that's kind of what this whole thing is about. Like, I realized years ago that, hey, this indent trick. Now, if we look at my goodness, pldb.io. Did my internet go down? Okay, internet might be out, but because we actually use the worldwide scroll here, I can still use PLDB. So, by the way, where's PLDB? Okay, here we go. So the worldwide scroll, if you're unfamiliar, we're building a new successor to the web, and it works offline. So what a great way to show the benefits of the scroll than for my internet to go down. Okay, so what programming languages use indentation? So Python, pretty famous. Look, very, very few languages use indentation. So I wrote this in 2019. It's probably gone up a little bit since then because people realize, oh, this is really powerful. But we really took that trick to the max, and we said we really almost don't need anything else besides that one indent trick. And that's kind of gave us Scroll. All right, so now let's get to parsers. So every line in a scroll document matches and is parsed by a parser. You can see all the available parsers in the scroll lead sheet. All right, so this is just a cheat sheet. You can print it out, and we'll make this better at some point, but this is all the keywords you have available to you. Think of them like HTML tags, right? So you got the bold, the div, the paragraph. In Scroll, you have these parsers. Now, advanced users, and we'll get to this at the end of the tutorial, you might want to check out the parsers lead sheet. So parsers is the language that Scroll is written in. So it's all in Scroll notation, but there's a language called parsers, and then so the Scroll notation, and then on top of that is parsers, and on top of that is Scroll, which is kind of the collection of Scroll parsers. But we'll get to that for advanced users later. All right, so basic lines, we can do the paragraph. I think we've already covered that a little bit. Here's the paragraph. And now we can actually do a catch-all paragraph, and this is the most common way to use paragraphs. You don't even need that. Basically, if you start, we call these command words, and if you start a line without a command word, so we've got 100-something command words, like blink. If you start a line without a command word, it hits the catch-all paragraph. And okay, so headers. I think we covered headers as well. Here's a header, here's a subheader. Just like Markdown. Ordered lists and checkboxes, we covered that. Tables. So this is the new thing in Scroll, and it's pretty neat. We can go to, see if my internet seems to be back. Great. We can click on this example, and you can watch this video if you want. So I'll show you a real advanced use case of tables. So right here we have a table containing top. So here's the data right here. Here's the CSV. We can put it right in line using the table keyword. We have the top 50 programming languages projects on GitHub, so we can change we can add a scatter plot. We can do some querying. So we have a pretty sophisticated data flow, data science language built into Scroll. So you can just do data science right here. So that's one of the more advanced ones. If you like dplyr and R or pandas, or if you like data science, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a real joy to use, and it's going to be getting better and better. So images, just you write the word image, and then let's just copy this. And okay, so this is a caption, and now and we can stylize the caption with anything we want. This is we can add links to the caption. So this is using aftertext. We're going to cover that in a second. What is aftertext? We're going to make the whole thing a link. So that's images, and we can also change the width and height. Autocomplete's not working there. That's my fault. So see, image parser, footnotes. This is kind of neat. Footnotes. I like this. I use this a lot. So Gazette is the default theme. So generally, you'll see me throw this tag in there. So you can see footnote 2, footnote another footnote, and write note. Then down here, I can do note, hello world. So yeah, footnotes. And then dashboard. This is kind of a neat thing to get a quick little, if you're building some dashboards. 300, whatever. Pretty self-explanatory. So you can use the HTML and CSS parsers. So say I wanted to make the color green of everything. I could just do this, body color green. Of course, you're not going to get autocomplete and stuff in there yet. Now, for HTML, you can write HTML. Now, there's another way to do it. any line that begins with a what's that, less than sign, will just automatically get parsed to HTML. And if you have a block of HTML, just indent it. That's all you got to do, and then you can do whatever you want. That's HTML. So markups. So you can mark up text in 3 ways at the moment. One is using just inline markup. Hello world. We'll see that it is italics. Another is doing just HTML, of course. Hello world. And then a third option is to use what we call after text. And this is, you put your markup after the text, and it's really helpful in certain situations. It's really good for links. So like markdown links and HTML links are kind of a pain and ugly and really mess up your content. But look at this. If we wanted to do this and we wanted to make that a link to, say, scroll.pub, and then we just write what text we want to be a link. So it's real nice. It really keeps your content a lot cleaner, your text a lot cleaner. Now, if you don't include any selecting text, it'll make the whole line a link. And if it's a local link, then you should just write the word link. And if it's going to a local page. So that's links and markups and after text. Columns is just a common word. If you want to put things into columns, we could do, say, thin columns. And there's a lorem ipsum. You can get some dummy text, and you can see how that can make columns there. So that's got thin columns, medium columns, wide columns. Advanced. So we have a macro capability in scroll. I think you'd probably have to use it. It only works on the desktop version, and some caveats there. I'll just skip that one for now. Imports, again on the desktop version. But real straightforward. I can kind of show you. Let's make a new blog, and then we'll go into the new blog and scroll init. So we'll build a new blog, and sorry, SB is my shortcut for scroll build, and then we can open the index. Okay, here's the blog that we just created, and we'll see how the imports work. Hello world imports header.scroll, and so it's, here's everything in header.scroll. But we should cover, let's keep going through this. Advanced themes. Theming is not the most pleasant thing to do yet, but we'll make it better. I'm just going to skip that for now. Other than, you might want to look at the Gazette CSS keyword. Adding your own parsers. So now this is where it gets real powerful for power users. But documentation here is pretty weak. So I'm going to skip this for now. And I just want to show you Scroll Hub. So tutorial test. You can make a new website using Scroll real quick. So you don't have to download anything. And this shows you kind of a lot of what we already just learned. Now, 2 things I want to highlight: build HTML and build text. So when you're running scroll locally, you need to add these lines if you want a. So I can show you. So here's this HTML file. If I were to get rid of this line, when I click save, it'll save and run this file on the server. But if I were to get rid of the line, it would not generate this HTML file. And the build text gives me a text version of this file as well. So that's kind of neat. And I can show you, welcome to my blog. I click on save, so it'll save that and run those commands and update live on the web. So, and then let's just do header. Let's create a new file, header.scroll. And let's just make some, I don't know why I'm doing this. Let's do a lorem ipsum in the header. Obviously not a very good header, but now let's go back to our index file, and I just want to show you the import functionality. So that should import the header.scroll, and it puts all that stuff up there. And then, that should be live. So that's Scroll Hub. That's the build HTML, build text, import statement. Yeah, that about covers it. Sorry, it's a 20-minute tutorial, but maybe that clears up some things. All right, have a great day. Bye.